Welcome to space, a place where no one hears you scream, but it rains diamonds and the radiation cooks you from the inside out. Let's look at this chaos. If you look at the standard sci-fi brochure, the Milky Way should be like Times Square on a Saturday night. We're talking thousands of alien empires trading spice, fighting wars with laser swords, and clogging up the hyperspace lanes. The math says they should be here. The sheer probability says we should be drowning in alien signals right now, but we look up and what do we see? Silence. Absolute, terrifying, deafening silence. So why is nobody visiting us? Why is our inbox empty? The standard scientific assumption, the arrogance of it really, is that as technology progresses, colonizing space becomes as easy as upgrading your iPhone. We assume that once a civilization figures out fusion drive, they just naturally spread out like mold on a sandwich, consuming every star system until the galaxy is green. But what if that is a complete lie? What if space isn't a frontier waiting to be conquered, but an unforgiving nightmare that actively wants you dead? Let's stop thinking like theoretical physicists for a second and start thinking like historians. To understand why the galaxy is empty, we need to look at the greatest expansion in human history, the ancient Polynesians. Imagine the Pacific Ocean 3,000 years ago. It covers 1/3 of the planet's surface. It is a vast blue desert of death. Navigating it in a wooden canoe isn't an adventure. It's a suicide mission with better PR. Now, picture the expansion. These explorers didn't just sail in a straight line and hit paradise every time. No, they bypassed thousands of wet, barren rocks where you'd starve in a week. They had to find the rare, lush islands, the gems. But here is the dark side of that expansion that nobody talks about. Not every colony made it. Some voyagers landed on isolated islands like the Pitcairn Group or Henderson Island, and they got stuck. They were too far from the trade routes. They ran out of tall trees to build new boats. They ran out of resources. Their technology regressed. They ended up trapped on tiny rocks in the middle of nowhere, and eventually some of those colonies just died out. The silence of the Pacific swallowed them whole. The Milky Way is just the Pacific Ocean scaled up to a level that breaks the human brain. We are told there are tens of billions of rocky planets in the habitable zone. Habitable. That is the most misleading word in astrophysics. It sounds cozy. It sounds like a fixer-upper with good bones. It's not. Habitable just means water might not instantly boil off or freeze solid. It does not mean you can live there. In fact, most of these planets are absolutely terrible. They are hells of lava, frozen sterile rocks, and atmospheres so toxic they would melt your face off before you even opened your helmet. We don't even have to leave our own backyard to prove this. Look at our neighbors. We fantasize about Mars. We print t-shirts about colonizing it. But let's be brutally honest about the real estate. Mars is a freezing radioactive litter box. It is covered in perchlorate, toxic dust that shuts down your thyroid and kills you. There is no air. There is no magnetic field to stop the sun from irradiating your DNA. It is a dead rock. Then look at Venus. It's technically in the habitable zone. But if you stand on the surface, the atmospheric pressure will crush you like a soda can, and then it will dissolve your remains in sulfuric acid rain. These are not colony worlds. These are warning signs. Now, apply the brutal economics of space travel to this reality. Imagine you are the CEO of an advanced alien civilization. Do you really want to build a generation ship, pack it with your best people, and send them on a 100-year voyage into the black void, burning resources faster than a government budget, only to arrive at a Mars equivalent? A useless, toxic rock that you have to spend another 1,000 years terraforming just so you can take a breath. The economics do not add up. The return on investment is zero. Terraforming isn't just hard, it is an energetic sinkhole. Why would a Type 2 civilization waste energy turning a dead rock into a garden when they could just build a spinning O'Neill cylinder habitat at home with perfect weather and zero commute? The assumption that aliens would want to colonize every planet is based on the idea that planets are valuable. But what if they aren't? What if 99.9% of the planets in the galaxy are just cosmic garbage? Useless debris floating in the dark. This changes the map entirely. If space is this hard, if the distances are this punishing, and if most planets are trying to kill you, then expansion isn't a wave, it's a surgical strike. You don't grab everything. You don't paint the map. You behave exactly like the Polynesians. You skip the barren rocks. You ignore the toxic dust bowls. You bypass the frozen wastelands. You look for the diamonds. So here is the terrifying thought to keep you up tonight. If the galaxy is full of dead rocks and poison worlds, maybe the reason we haven't met aliens isn't because they aren't there. Maybe it's because they are highly efficient real estate agents. What if highly advanced aliens don't conquer everything, but instead carefully pick only the very best planets, stringing together hidden empires right under our noses, and we just happen to be living in the cosmic equivalent of a barren rock? They decided wasn't worth the stop. But here's the dirty secret astronomers usually gloss over while showing you pretty pictures. The galaxy isn't a static map. It is a chaotic, swirling mosh pit of stars screaming through the void at 500,000 miles an hour. That stellar neighborhood you see in the sky tonight? It's temporary. It's a fleeting moment. The stars are constantly reshuffling the deck, meaning that building a galactic empire isn't just about conquering space. It is about timing the cosmic real estate market before the bubble bursts. And this is where the news gets absolutely tragic for humanity. By pure, unadulterated bad luck, Earth is currently drifting through a region of the Milky Way that is essentially a galactic ghost town. We are stuck in the local bubble, a cavern of hot, thin gas blown out by ancient supernovae that scrubbed the neighborhood clean of anything interesting. For dozens of light years in every direction, we are surrounded by red dwarfs, brown dwarfs, and useless rocks. We are the galactic equivalent of the Pitcairn Islands, a tiny rock in the middle of a massive ocean, thousands of miles from the nearest shipping lane, completely ignored by the rest of civilization because nobody has a reason to come here. If there is a bustling galactic federation out there, we are not on their map because we are geographically irrelevant. Compare our lonely backwater existence to the frantic energy of a globular cluster or the dense inner arms of the galaxy. In those regions, stars aren't lonely specks in the dark. They are packed together like sardines in a tin. The night sky on a planet in the core wouldn't be black. It would be a blinding tapestry of 1,000,000 suns. In these high-density zones, the average distance between stars isn't 4 light years like it is out here in the sticks. It might be a few light weeks. This is where the real empires happen. This is where you get string empires. These are civilizations that don't need warp drive or magic physics to expand. They can use conventional rockets to hop from star to star the way we hop islands in the Caribbean. They create a chain of inhabited worlds, a connected string of pearls where trade is viable, where you can actually send a radio signal to your neighbor and get a reply before you die of old age. In these clusters, alien species are likely trading goods, fighting border skirmishes, and casually chatting over coffee because the physics actually allows it. They are living in a cosmically connected metropolis while we are stuck yelling into the void from a cabin in the woods. But even for these lucky civilizations, the laws of physics are a brutal executioner. Let's shatter the illusion of the monolithic, eternal galactic empire. It cannot exist. The scale of the universe is the ultimate empire killer. Let's say you manage to colonize a star system 10 light years away. Great job. But now, realize that every single message you send takes 10 years to arrive. A simple, "Hello, how is the colony?" takes 20 years for a round-trip response. If a rebellion starts on the colony world, by the time the emperor back on the home world hears about it, the war has already been over for a decade. The rebels have won, set up a new government, and probably erected a statue mocking the emperor. You cannot enforce political will across light years. It is economically and logistically impossible. Interstellar war is a bankrupt enterprise. Why would you spend the GDP of an entire solar system to build a fleet, freeze your soldiers for 50 years, and send them to a planet that might not even have the resources you wanted by the time you get there? It's cheaper to just stay home and play video games. The silence of the universe isn't just about emptiness, it's about the sheer crushing lag of reality. And then, the universe drops the final hammer: biology. This is the barrier nobody talks about. If you send a colony ship to a planet with slightly higher gravity, slightly different radiation, and a different atmospheric mix, Darwinian evolution takes the wheel immediately. Without constant travel and genetic mixing, which we just established is impossible due to the distances, that colony population begins to drift. In 10,000 years, they aren't citizens of the empire anymore. In 100,000 years, they aren't even the same species. They are taller, their bones are denser, their eyes have adapted to a red sun, and their brains process logic differently. They are aliens to you. The empire fractures not because of politics, but because the colonists have biologically morphed into strangers. This creates an endless, churning cycle of civilizations popping up, expanding for a brief window, and then naturally fracturing into isolated pockets or dying out completely. The galaxy is a garden where the flowers bloom and die in isolation, rarely ever touching. So, where does that leave us? Floating on our little blue marble in the middle of nowhere. Is that terrifying? Or is it actually the greatest stroke of luck we could have asked for? Because we are in the cosmic boonies, we are hidden. We are safe. The shifting tides of the galaxy haven't brought a predator to our doorstep yet. We have been granted a period of silence, a time out in the corner of the playground, giving us a chance to figure out who we are, to stop fighting over lines on a map, and to get our technology up to speed before the stellar drift inevitably shuffles the deck again and brings new, potentially terrifying neighbors into our backyard. We are isolated, yes, but in a galaxy this violent, isolation is a shield. But don't get too comfortable in the quiet, because the universe has monsters far worse than aliens lurking in the dark. You think isolation is scary? Wait until you see what happens when gravity collapses in on itself and rips the fabric of reality apart. You need to understand the true engine of destruction in our universe. Smash that subscribe button, hit the like